Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has called out the Yankees once again, adding more fuel to the already crazy rivalry between the two AL East teams. And we also have had some stats released that show that the Toronto Blue Jays might have some players that are ready for some major breakout years. So we're going to break that down in this episode of Jays Digest. What's up, Jays fans? Nick Gosse, host of Jays Digest. And before we do get into the video, Peter won't be able to make it today. He will be back tomorrow. He's tied up with some school stuff and wasn't able to get on this one. However, again, he'll be back tomorrow, so that's all good. And make sure to hit the subscribe button. We're less than 50 subs away from 6,000, so it would mean the world to us if you could do that. And yeah, let's get right into the first topic of the video, which is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. calls out the New York Yankees. So he was at an interview with a bunch of kids. It was kind of a good, fun event. And a kid asked him, what is the easiest team to play against for you? And Vlad went on to say, the New York Yankees, which, as you already know, caused tons of beef between the two teams on Twitter. And already, just adds to the already crazy rivalry that these two teams have. And in response to this, a New York Yankees writer wrote this. Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s most recent shot at the Yankees shows how weak the Blue Jays are, followed up by basically saying that Vlad has gone from one of the most beloved young stars in the league to a certified troll. He's been nothing but an agitator since bursting onto the scene, and his antics have been poorly executed. Now, to us Jays fans, and a lot of Yankees fans as well, to be fair, what he said was he was kind of joking when he said that. He wasn't really being serious. The whole interview wasn't a very serious setting, but as you can imagine, many Yankees fans took his quote, maybe out of context or in context, and ran with it, being upset and making a headline like this. Now, this was tweeted out as well by Jake, saying Vlad is very clearly having an easy time against the Yankees, saying that he hit, 289 with 72 hits, 13 home runs, and 41 RBIs in 65 games with an 864 OPS. So what Vlad was saying was not necessarily untrue. He's hit phenomenally against the Yankees, and maybe he was being serious. Maybe he was just saying that, the Yankees are an easy team for him to hit against. It's very, very possible. Now, to be fair, most teams that Vlad has hit against, I'm sure he finds easy because he's such a good hitter, but also it could have just been a bit of a jab at the Yankees, because obviously the Blue Jays and Yankees have a huge rivalry, and they've been going at it all offseason, going all the way back to when Alek Manoah called Garrett Cole one of the biggest cheaters in the MLB, or the biggest cheater in the MLB, on a podcast that kind of started the major beef this offseason, and now it has translated all the way to what we have now, which is Vlad Jr. once again calling out the New York Yankees. I have a few more screenshots for you here now. This is from Josie McFly, Yankees super fan on Twitter. He says, Vlad makes himself look so silly with these takes, man. You can hate the team, that's fine, but you look dumb disrespecting a team you had a losing record against. Kind of goes to show both fan bases were upset, and obviously there was tons of Jays responses to that, saying, for one, Vlad wasn't being serious. For two, he hit phenomenally against the Yankees, so what he's saying wasn't untrue either. Tons of drama between the two teams, and I want to know what you guys have to say about that and what your thoughts are on this rivalry. I'm all for it personally, and I'll pop up a couple more screenshots. This is the last one from the Yankees fan saying, Vlad saying the Blue Jays' easiest opponent in 2022 was the Yankees is just plain dumb, let alone not true. The Jays had an under 500 record against the Yankees. I get that we are always on your mind, but I think it's time to get a new shtick, Vlad. So this kind of goes to show tons of Yankees fans were upset out there. But as the Jays fans have said, he was talking about individual performance in which he did phenomenally in. But the reason I bring this up is because I think this rivalry is great for the MLB. It's great for the Jays, and it's going to be great for watching the upcoming season. You can see this tweet here from Yankees Muse saying, Yankees versus Blue Jays is going to be so fun this year. Can't wait. And then a Blue Jays fan quoting that saying, same man, these games are going high voltage for every pitch. I wonder if the networks start recognizing the rivalry and give us some more serious TV time, which is kind of what I'm excited for. There's going to be tons of, obviously, games between the two teams, both being in the AL East. Obviously, we have the schedule changes, but there's still going to be tons of games between them, and every pitch is going to mean something. The first game between the two teams is going to be electric. You can expect Rogers Center to be electric when they go up against each other, and it's just very, very crazy time to be a MLB fan and a Yankees fan. And let me know if you think what Vladdy said was out of pocket, or if you think it was perfectly fine, him calling the Yankees the easiest team to play against. We'll move on to the next topic now, which is huge breakout seasons coming. So this was posted on Twitter, and shout out to the guy who posted it. It shows some very interesting things. So obviously we covered it in a video recently, a few days ago, about the Rogers Center, obviously being much smaller now, being much closer, and just a smaller stadium in general, which is going to benefit the right-handed power hitters and the left-handed power hitters. But someone tweeted this here. That's not right here. So this is the Bichette, Chapman, Guerrero, and Merrifield. So this is the infield. their hits last year if the Rogers Center has the new dimensions that it will next year. So obviously the Rogers Center has smaller dimensions, so you can see how many more home runs the players will have. If you look at Whit Merrifield, you can expect 15, 20 home runs from him next year, according to this. If he hit like last year, Bichette hitting even more home runs, Vladdy, of course, Chapman as well. It's a very interesting thing to see. So obviously the black outline is the new Rogers Center, and the balls are where they would have went, or where they went last year, and according to the stadium, which essentially means some major breakout seasons must be coming. Dalton Varsho, for example, I didn't pop him up there, but he could also be prone for a breakout year because he obviously pulls the ball a lot. He hits a lot of deep fly balls. Kevin Biggio as well is a sneaky one. He might be prone for not necessarily a breakout season, but a season where he's able to hit some more home runs because the right field is shorter, center field is shorter, left field is shorter with the major renovations. And I'll pop it up one more time for you guys here. Look at the difference between all the home runs, especially Vladdy as well. Everyone is going to be hitting more home runs in the Rogers Center. However, of course, this will benefit other teams. Obviously, the Blue Jays will be playing in Rogers Center the most, but their pitchers might, someone talked about Chris Bassett potentially having a regression given the fact that, he's going to be pitching a less hitter or less pitcher-friendly ballpark. However, I don't think it'll really matter too much for the Jays pitchers. I think they're going to get used to it. Chris Bassett specifically is a ground ball pitcher. He has a great sinker, so I don't think it'll cause too much of a problem. However, I'm just excited to see the high-octane offensive games between the two teams. And I saw some people on Twitter and around Reddit as well saying that you can expect every Blue Jays game to be like crazy, 10-plus runs, bet the over, do all that good, fun stuff. But I don't know. It's going to be super interesting. And I also have this to show you guys, which is the previous home park versus the new home park, differential of hitting. So you can see Brandon Belt is ranked 4th there, meaning he gained a 27% increase by moving into the Rogers Center. And Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and Gabriel Moreno, going to obviously Arizona, have got a negative 24% differential. Essentially what this means is it takes the balls they hit last year and a bunch of other analytics like that and predicts how they're going to hit in their new ballpark compared to their old ballpark. So Brandon Belt is going to be hitting significantly better now that he moves to the Rogers Center from San Francisco. And the players we shipped out in the Dalton Varsho trade, Gabriel Moreno and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. there at the bottom, will be hindered by having to play at Arizona. And you can also see there under Brandon Belt is Dalton Varsho, who also gains a 24% increase. So whether, Ross Atkins and the front office noticed that, I'm sure is true, but I wonder how much that was taken into account when making those trades, and the renovations as well, because obviously the renovations are a huge thing. We have much better defense now, but there's going to be a lot more home runs being hit, and the players we brought in conform to the new outfield and the new outfield dimensions very, very well. So it'll be very interesting to see. So let me know who you think is going to have the biggest breakout year. My prediction is probably Whit Merrifield in the sense of his improvement from last year. I think he's going to hit way more bombs, double the home runs he had last year, maybe even more. Maybe even triple, who knows, with the new Rogers Center. And I know he's been on record saying how excited he is for it. So that's super exciting. And let me know. But let's move on to the final topic now, which is just a little fun fact, which is today in Jays history. We saw this on Twitter, and January 23rd, 2023. So I'm going to pop up this screenshot right here. January 23rd, 2021. George Springer signed a 6-year, $150 million contract with the Toronto Blue Jays. So 2 years ago today, as of the time recording this video, George Springer was signed to that monster contract, which really signified the turn of the Toronto Blue Jays. Obviously, the signing of Hyun-Jin Ryu was kind of what most Blue Jays fans consider the major turning point of the franchise over the past few years. It's when they started to sign more and more free agents. And then they got George Springer 2 years ago today, which was really, when we got George Springer, any stigma about the Blue Jays not being able to get stars kind of was put to rest a little bit. We got our star in George Springer, and he has performed very, very well. Obviously, he's had some injuries. He hasn't been able to be fully healthy, but at the end of the day, we still have him now for another few years, and he's going to perform in the playoffs, and we're going to need him over the next few years. But I thought that was very, very interesting. 2 years ago on the date today, we got George Springer, and then we got Kevin Gausman, the next year, and it kind of just started the major free agency trend that the Blue Jays have had, which is bringing in and making major splashes in free agency. And just wanted to give a quick shout out to George Springer because he's been phenomenal for the Blue Jays. He's already made so many crazy highlights, so many crazy moments, and I'm excited to see him in right field next year where he can hopefully keep his body a bit more preserved, be a bit less injured, and play maybe 120, 130 games, and then go into the playoffs and do what he does best, which is hit home runs and hit the ball in the postseason. So just thought that was interesting to show you guys there. And let me know your thoughts there on the George Springer signing as well. I'm sure all of you will like it. And it's a bargain. 6 years, 150 million, especially looking at the other deals that are signed now with the inflated market. But that'll wrap up the video. Again, thank you guys for watching. Peter will be here for tomorrow's video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. We're so close to 6,000. Your support has been unbelievable, and we'll see you tomorrow.